But first, most media commentators agree that the Liberals' by-election disaster in Aston and another bad news poll today for opposition leader Peter Dutton, that all proves that the Liberals have gone too far to the right. Well, let us test that proposition with our panel. Stephen Conroy is a former Labor Senator and Cabinet Minister, and Michael Kroger, a former Victorian Liberal President. So, Steve Conroy, true or false that the Liberals have gone too far to the right?
Well, look, there's certainly a perception that they've been captured by the Sydney media bubble and that they just target the issues that might work in a bit of Queensland and a bit of western suburbs of Sydney, and that they've lost touch with Western Australia. They've lost.
Look, I can't see them, Stephen. Just tell me, what are the issues where you think they've lurched to the right?
Well, I'll give you... Well, the simplest way to describe it, and it's a much broader issue, is renewables. Australians want renewables. We've got the largest take-up. Very, very, very simple. We've got the largest take-up of solar panels on our roofs to any country in the world. Andrew, Australians want renewables. How we get there, very legitimate policy debate. But the Australian public are taking up the opportunity to put a solar panel on their roof saying, I want renewable power.
The Liberals have supported solar panels. The Liberals have for net zero. Matt Keane in New South Wales was rabid on global warming.
I'm terribly sorry.
Tell me an example where the Liberals went to the right.
I'm talking the federal Liberals. Tony Abbott took renewables out of a whole range of federal programs.
Tony Abbott.
He became...
Tony Abbott.
Yeah, Tony Abbott. And that position...
How many prime ministers ago
was overturned by Malcolm Turnbull as best he could. Malcolm Turnbull... That's what's permeated. I have absolutely just given you an example.
You haven't given me an
example. The Liberal Party federally are seen as anti-renewables and through that anti-climate. And the most recent example is the safeguard mechanism.
Because safeguard and the others, they keep saying what's false. This lurch to the right, I don't see it. Michael Kroger, can you help me out?
The safeguard mechanism, Andrew, the decision to vote against the safeguard mechanism. Sorry, safeguard mechanism, Andrew. They voted against it a couple of weeks ago.
Andrew, you are being
to the right. The Liberals created the safeguards mechanism in the first place. Michael.
And then voted against the amendment on it.
Andrew, you're being far too hard on Stephen. Don't forget, this man had to put up with being a minister in Kevin Rudd's government several years. But don't give him a break. Give him a break. Andrew, no, of course that's not right. But you see, what happens is this in politics. If you don't have a big agenda of your own, i.e. the Liberal Party doesn't have a big policy agenda, then the media, who have to quietly comment on political parties, comments on the things that you're not doing or the mistakes you're making. If you're not out there promoting and defending and inspiring people on new policy ideas, they obviously look to internal distension, faction fighting, arguments, upside down how to vote cards, out of tune jingles, etc. So you concentrate on all the lesser things in relation to a party, and you get criticised on this whole, people, the press rightly have got to say, well, what do we think? How do we have a debate about the Liberal Party? Well, let's argue that they might be going to the right or to the left or something else. The party, to get away from all this nonsense, has got to have policy ideas which are universal. That's why I say a major overhaul of the shocking broken Australian tax system should be the number one agenda on Peter Dutton's list and every state leader, because that's universal. It's not left or right. It brings the party together, inspires people, and it talks to the working middle class who are seriously disadvantaged by the current tax system in this country that no one's taken on since John and Peter took it on in 1998.
But I'll give you another chance here, Stephen. I mean, Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews, for instance, who claims to promote tolerance, unlike those naughty Liberals, had this explanation for the Liberals' defeats.
Whether it's anti-trans, anti-gay, anti-Chinese people, the list goes on and on. The Liberal Party are a nasty, bigoted outfit, and people have worked them out.
I mean, who's the bigot here, Stephen? Is it all the Liberals or this Premier who falsely accuses them of being anti-Chinese and anti-gay? I mean, Where on earth is the evidence for that ridiculous smear?
Well, I think in terms of the debate around Australians from a Chinese background, I think the rhetoric that was used in that period from, including Malcolm Turnbull, he doesn't get to escape this, okay? I mean, taking advice from Malcolm Turnbull, when he's trying to pretend like he lost 13 seats. I was there. No,
you are anti the Chinese dictatorship. So you're no different.
Absolutely.
So where
but
are they specifically against Chinese here?
Well, look, the Chinese population are voting with their feet. They voted for the Liberal Party in 3 elections,
Again,
and then they decided not to vote for them, okay? Well, look, I'm sorry if 15% of the electorate...
And that's a huge problem.
15% of the electorate in Aston thinks that they're... Well, the rhetoric was damaging.
I'm talking about reality,
the
not
rhetoric
the smear
used by Morrison,
by a premier,
by Turnbull,
trying to side with the Chinese regime and smearing the Liberal government as anti-Chinese.
Let's be clear. Labor is capable of walking and chewing gum. We have state premiers who are absolutely doing their job by wanting to trade with China. We've got companies in Australia that want to trade with China. Labor Party can walk and chew gum. We are going to have. We've got the AUKUS decision. We've got the. Well, I think they weren't doing
Stephen, look, I've got to go to Michael while we've still got time.
Richard Marles is currently done.
Again, a Labor smear. They're anti-gay, anti-Chinese. This is a lie. L-I-E, lie.
Well, of course it's a lie, but let me say this. No Liberal Premier, whatever faults the Liberal Party has, no Liberal Premier has ever presided over a police force that arrested Jewish worshippers for practising their religion. And we saw the sight during the pandemic. Religious Jewish worshippers had to escape on over roofs, running away from the police under this man's police state when he was Premier of Victoria during the pandemic. This man shut down people's right.
We've had an election.
Hang on,
We've had an election since then, Michael.
Yeah, it doesn't make what he
did right. And guess what? You went further backwards.
He did completely the wrong thing. So none of us have ever done that during any Liberals premiership. Look, Andrews is an appalling premier. He's the most.
Now listen.
All you need to know is how popular this bloke is within the Labor Party. No one in the Labor Party likes this bloke. Unfortunately, he got elected because
by a massive landslide.
The public respects him.
A massive landslide.
Within the Labor Party, they do not like him.
Yeah, but that's true. Stephen, you make an absolute point that these lies and these smears, they actually work, but that doesn't make them right. And it doesn't excuse the Liberals from being so weak that they can't fight back. That's what really is so upsetting too, that lies work and the Liberals are too weak to combat them.